eMystery presents. This teenage boy was hospitalized for his asthma, but then he was given a deadly breakfast. Before we begin, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for more heartwarming stories. The hospital is where people are meant to be safest. There, doctors provide them with the care and medication that they need to get better. But Louis Tate didn't get the healing he needed. Instead, he was served a deadly breakfast. Louis had checked into Frankston Hospital in Victoria, Australia in 2015 because he felt sick from asthma. The 13-year-old had also suffered allergies to raw eggs, nuts, and cow's milk, but his health concerns were well managed according to his mother, Gabrielle Caton. Although Louis was only a teenager, he had an anaphylaxis action plan. He always has an EpiPen, Gabrielle told ABC News. He knew to ask hospital staffers for a safe breakfast for him to eat: wheat cereal and soy milk. With Louis's mature handling of his medical needs, Gabrielle likely had no problem leaving her son overnight in the hospital. She departed at 1 o'clock in the morning and called to check in a few hours later, around the time that he would be eating his breakfast. That was when Louis's mother knew that something had gone terribly wrong. The nurse on the other end of the line said, "He had a good night, but he just came over to me telling me that he has a slight tingling sensation in his mouth," Caton recalled. With that, his mother knew exactly what was happening. "He was having an allergic reaction, that was quite clear," Gabrielle said. Louis had only eaten a single bite of his breakfast when he felt the telltale signs. And that one bite would prove to be fatal. From the moment Louis's lips began tingling, the 13-year-old's condition got worse extremely quickly. He died in the hospital, leaving his family with nothing but questions. Louis's father Simon said, "We continue to struggle every day with the emptiness, loss, and circumstances surrounding his death. But the family had a suspicion that their son's breakfast was to blame for his quick, unexpected passing. We strongly believe that Louis's death never should have happened. He was in the hospital, at a place where he should have been safe. Yet despite us providing clear and concise communications about his food, he died," his father added. The 13-year-old's family would have to wait more than 2 years after their son's death to find out what had actually happened to him. During their inquest, they learned some upsetting details about the hospital's handling of Louis's allergies. In December of 2017, the nurse in charge of Frankston Hospital's children's ward, Helen Hutchins, admitted that Louis's allergies hadn't been written on the kitchen whiteboard as they should have been. She called it a failure of the system, according to ABC News. But Coroner Phillip Byrne eventually found that there was more to blame for Louis's death than a bad breakfast. In February 2018, he revealed that the 13-year-old had died from a disorder called malignant hyperthermia, which was an incredibly rare diagnosis. Malignant hyperthermia occurs when a patient has an extreme reaction to the medications administered during anesthesia. Symptoms of the condition include a rapid heart rate, high temperature, and muscle stiffness. Frankston Hospital staff had, indeed, given Louis an anesthetic for a very specific reason. He had gone into anaphylaxis after eating his breakfast, according to the coroner. This meant the boy's family's suspicions about his cause of death were partly correct. Byrne also performed further research to figure out what exactly the hospital had given Louis to cause the allergic reaction, but he believed the forensic experts did not receive the right carton of milk from the hospital, preventing them from identifying the allergen present. Byrne said, "I am somewhat frustrated whether it was mistakenly cow's milk in the glass or some other contamination due to dairy product. Regrettably, I am unable to determine." Still, the family felt vindicated by the coroner's findings. "Ultimately, we know that if he hadn't had breakfast, he would have been back home with us and we wouldn't be here," Simon, the boy's father, said after hearing the results of the inquest. He and Gabrielle did have one problem with the coroner's findings, though. Although Byrne had indeed pointed out that the hospital's poor food handling procedures, he did not make any recommendations for improvements in the area. Louis's parents wished he had, but the coroner said that he didn't need to. That was because, in the wake of Louis's death, the hospital had revamped its food handling guidelines. The coroner believed that they were now thorough and appropriate. The hospital had begun putting patients' allergies into a computer system, so that they wouldn't be absent from the kitchen whiteboard, as Louis's had been. And although Louis's parents finally had the results that they knew to be true all along, they still planned to do more in the wake of their son's untimely death. After hearing the coroner's report, they said they planned to file a civil suit against Frankston Hospital. Thanks for watching another heartwarming video. Please check out our channel for more stories that will make your heart melt.